Welcome back, everyone, to Mysteries of the Mind, a true crime podcast hosted by myself, Daphne St. Clair.
And me, Preston Knight. Today, we're continuing our breakdown of the Doctorlove case. To recap, the case in question is very obscure, due to being covered up. But our favorite detective, Daphne,
I managed to get my hands on the never-before-seen records, tapes, and juicy details. We're discussing Doctorlove, aka Dr. Burnett, who ran away with her patient, Hazel, back in the 1950s, whisking her away from a rural Philadelphia psychiatric hospital.
Last time on Mysteries of the Mind, we covered the first sessions between Hazel and Dr. Burnett.
And the start of their journey into a more focused care plan for Hazel.
And Dr. Burnett's suspicion of a misdiagnosis. Today, we go deeper into Hazel's psyche.
And the relationship of Dr. Love. Stay tuned!
Maya Appavoo presents Dr. Love, an audio drama. Episode 2, Building Trust. A full list of themes, topics, and content warnings can be found in the episode description.
All right, to kick things off, we've gathered up some comments from our devoted listeners to do a little Q&A.
This is a segment we like to call Mindful Musings.
We've got a collection of questions, concerns, and general musings from our community, so let's dive into it.
Our first comment is actually a question for you, Daphne. Jared from our Patreon, hey guys, don't forget to sign up for our Patreon, said, hey guys, love the show. I was wondering about how Daphne got these records. She said last episode that the kids of a deceased asylum board member gave them to her. Can you clarify why they had them and were able to give them to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my understanding is that the people I spoke to were one of the board members' kids, and it was basically stuff the guy had put in a box in the attic. They didn't know much about the case. Their dad hadn't spoken much about it, I guess, so it was just sort of a box of forgotten files.
Well, my guess is he probably didn't talk much about it because he was trying to make sure it stayed quiet.
Yeah, and I think they were sort of knew a bit because they were really hesitant to give it to me, but you know me. All I had to do was turn on the charm.
Well, Jared, hope that answers your question. Our next comment is from I just woke up from a nap, who says, I love that you guys don't over-edit your show. It feels much more authentic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. We tend to find that our editing style is a little more human.
More conversational.
Yeah.
Oh, which, it isn't to say that people who edit more heavily than us are doing something wrong.
Oh, of course not. But I think our style works for us. It feels more...
I think it feels like people can connect with us more.
Oh, I agree. Anyways, last question from Tree, also from our Patreon. What does research on something like this look like for you guys?
Well, I don't want to speak for Preston, but on my end, it's going through as much of the original case materials as I can, then as many secondary sources as I can, and then trying to put the pieces together myself. I have gone through a lot of paper and yarn for this show, trying to put my thoughts together. Preston?
I think it depends. Obviously, I have a bit of general knowledge on psychology. I'm listening to this stuff for the first time as Daphne is exploring it with all of us, so there's not, a lot of research I'm doing ahead of time for episodes. Unless it's a topic we've discussed ahead of time.
Like attachment styles.
Right, like attachment styles. So, my process for the last week has been, doing the reading, finding papers and studies and journals.
Cool. interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks so much to our patrons and listeners for submitting comments and questions. So, on the topic of attachment styles, before we get into the new stuff for this week, what do you think of Hazel's attachment style?
So based on what we listened to last week?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't listening to those recordings with attachment styles in mind.
Well, of course, yeah.
So I'm not sure, it's been a week since we listened to it, but I could say for sure that I don't think Hazel had a secure attachment style.
So just for the audience here, can you give a little more context on what attachment styles are, what they help us understand, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so attachment style theory is basically how we, form attachments and how we react to threats to those attachments. So there's 4 types: anxious, avoidant, disorganized, and secure. Someone with a secure attachment isn't really afraid of abandonment, whereas the other types are afraid of abandonment and use unhealthy coping mechanisms, to deal with that fear.
And so today, as we get into more of Hazel and Dr. Burnett's story, you'll be giving us your insights on Hazel's attachment style? Cool. So before we get into the next session recording, I wanted to discuss Hazel's late husband in a bit more detail, just to help give more context. Here it is. Hazel's late husband, Charles Edward Finley, born 1920, died in World War II in 1944 at the age of 24. There isn't a lot in the materials I was given about Hazel and Charles. My guess is the letters between them and stories about them are all in the hands of their families, who have not responded to any messages from us, as of yet. But we know that he was the one who committed her to the asylum shortly before he was deployed. We also know he was the only one who wrote to her once she was committed. Again, we don't have copies of these letters, but we do have Hazel's journals. Charlie sent a letter. It took me a long time to open and read it. These days, he talks about dirt and blood and going hungry. We both knew war would be hard, but I hate thinking of him out there, away from home, scared and alone and cold and famished. And I'm angry at him. He's been away fighting for freedom, but he's the one who put me here. When the war is over and my country is celebrating, who will he be watching the fireworks with?
Oh, that's a fascinating passage.
It is.
That speaks to an anger, I think that maybe stems from fear that Hazel harbored against her husband.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally be upset if my spouse basically imprisoned me and then went off to fight for the freedom of others. But what I think is interesting here is that she doesn't actually seem worried about him.
No, and she clearly doesn't like the thought of him in the trenches, but, she doesn't seem concerned about him. But again, I wonder if her anger here stemmed from fear. Like she doesn't sound concerned, but that doesn't mean she isn't concerned. Like covering up fear and worry with anger is a common coping mechanism.
That's interesting. So I thought that would be good context, especially because we're about to get into the next part of Hazel and Dr. Burnett's relationship, where Dr. Burnett has tons more time to commit to Hazel's care.
Shall we get into it?
We shall.
Well, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
We still have time? I thought I was keeping you late.
No. I transferred a lot of my caseload, so we have extra time now.
Thank you.
Hazel.
No, really. Thank you very much. This is the most effort someone's put into trying to take care of me. Thank you. Thank you.
Hazel, I was happy to do it. You deserve good care, Hazel. You deserve to feel cared for.
Thank you.
Nobody can make progress until they're cared for. You need to have your needs met and to feel comfortable. Otherwise, the issues you're experiencing will be increasingly hard and overwhelming to tackle.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, Hazel. Can I put in any requests for food or blankets on your way out?
No, I'm all right. Thank you again.
Have a good afternoon, Hazel.
Got this, Adam.
Are you eating popcorn while you watch me get assaulted?
Yeah, why? You want some?
Maybe.
Ow! Well, you're not allowed.
Not until you
Stream Milkfish wherever you listen to podcasts.
Curious about the Patreon page Daphne and Preston keep referencing? Well, we've got bonus content over on the Dr. Love Ko-fi. If you're interested in ad-free episodes, all the scripts, exclusive content, and more, check out the link in the description to head to our website for more information.
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone.
So that was a pretty short clip, but what do you think so far?
About attachment styles?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so far this all feels pretty indicative of an anxious attachment style. Now people with anxious attachments are easy to describe as clingy or demanding in their relationships. But of course this is rooted in a deep fear of abandonment and, a need for control. So far we've seen Hazel throw a glass at a wall when she perceived a relationship as being threatened, and she's deeply concerned with expressing gratitude to Dr. Burnett. It's almost like she's trying to give Dr. Burnett a reason to need her too.
Really?
It's either that or borderline personality disorder, which is also characterized by a deep fear of abandonment and can also lead to meltdowns. But Daphne, go ahead and give your thoughts.
I think this clip is just the start of Dr. Burnett really falling for Hazel. I mean, she's so attentive and caring, and she's really trying to reassure Hazel that she's there for her. And, okay, yes, that's her job, but I've never had any medical professional ask me if I could use a blanket. To me, that seems like Dr. Burnett's attempt to show affection in whatever way she can. Okay, let me show you.
Is this gonna be another journal entry?
A few, actually. Oh, here it is. First, I'm going to read you a passage about another patient. Daisy demonstrates an above-average level of intelligence, and her episodes seem to be rooted in boredom. More enrichment required before increasing dosage. Okay, Daisy is a patient that Dr. Burnett handed off to another doctor in the facility. So compare that to how she speaks about Hazel. In my conversations with Hazel, she demonstrates an incredible amount of compassion and desire for connection and expresses feeling a disconnect from others. Not only is this not a symptom of schizophrenia, but in my opinion, it is a symptom of fear and loneliness. Continuing caseload handoff to assure further care for Hazel. See, it's different.
Oh, I don't doubt it's different. I mean, we know they did run away together, but I think Dr. Burnett was just offering a blanket.
I think that...
Dr. Burnett mentions Hazel's fear and desire for connection. I think it's entirely possible that she recognized that Hazel needed a feeling of security and safety, was catering to it. She said herself that she wanted to make sure Hazel's needs were met so she could improve.
And...
then, obviously, Dr. Burnett got a little carried away eventually.
Okay, getting us back on track a little here, let's listen to the next clip.
It's been 2 weeks now since we took you off your meds. How are you feeling?
Not much different.
Any withdrawal symptoms?
I don't think so. I'm having fewer headaches and dizzy spells.
You were having headaches and dizzy spells?
Yes. Minor ones, though.
Well, those are common side effects of the medications you were on. But I don't see any indication of headaches or dizziness in your chart or in your notes. Hazel, why didn't you tell us you were having headaches and dizzy spells? It's important we have a good overview of what's troubling you. Is there a reason you didn't indicate any side effects? Did Dr. Green ever ask you about adverse effects?
No.
Okay. That's okay. That's not your fault. Hazel, I'm asking you right now, if I ever add anything to your regimen and you feel any adverse effects, I want you to tell me, okay?
I don't want to trouble you.
You're not troubling me. You're helping me do my job. I'm here to help you, to make sure you feel better. Do you feel at home here?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Is there anything uncomfortable about your room?
I don't know.
If you think of something, let me know. You live here. It should be comfortable. I can't help you if I don't know what's hurting you. So, if there's anything even a little bit off, I want you to tell me, Hazel.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was from right after Dr. Burnett initiated a med review and transferred a bunch of her caseload. So now we're going to listen, we're going to skip ahead a session. Oh my gosh, we're going to skip ahead a couple months and listen to another session.
Did you hear what I asked, Hazel?
Sorry.
Are you feeling okay?
They're using different oats for the oatmeal now. I don't like the texture.
Okay. How are you feeling? I know this must be a tough time of year for you.
These oats get too mushy. They soak up too much water.
Is that affecting your mood?
No. My morning just feels unfinished now. I didn't eat most of my breakfast, and then I didn't want to change because I wear my nightshirt until I'm done breakfast, but I didn't finish breakfast, so I didn't know if I should
Are
change.
the oats the only reason you didn't finish your breakfast? Nurse Amelia noted you didn't eat your fruit either.
I didn't want to eat mushy fruit.
The fruit... Hazel, are you hungry?
No.
Are you having trouble waking up in the mornings?
I don't know. Maybe. Everything feels mushy and gray, like the oatmeal.
Okay. Are the oats affecting your mood?
I don't see a point sometimes.
A point to what?
To you trying to help me. To trying to get better. I'm going to be stuck here for the rest of my life. I don't know what I'm supposed to be trying for.
It sounds like you're feeling a little depressed. Is that accurate?
Maybe.
Is there a reason you didn't want to talk about it?
I don't want to go back on the pills I was on before. It had been a long time since I had a day without a headache, or where I was able to stand up without getting lightheaded. I don't want to go back.
We won't put you back on those medications. I promise. If you don't want them, you don't have to have them. Do you trust me to take care of you?
Yes.
Let's try a morning walk, shall we?
Really?
Yes. Sunlight might be good for you. I'll have Nurse Amelia take you tomorrow after your breakfast.
All right. I'll be good.
I know you will.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to update my attachment style theory.
Go for it.
I think maybe she's presenting more of an avoidant attachment style. She's shutting out Dr. Burnett in an attempt to prevent the development of an attachment. Because she doesn't want to rely on someone else.
Well, could it also be trauma related? Like with Dr. Green having been so dismissive?
Well, all insecure attachment styles, stem from some sort of trauma. Usually childhood neglect, but a more recent trauma can certainly exacerbate it. So you have more details about what happened with Dr. Green, right?
Not much. Most of what I was given is stuff that the asylum's board tried to bury, and they weren't overly concerned with Dr. Green, so, I only really got stuff that's relevant to Dr. Burnett's treatment of Hazel. So the final chart he handed over to her and, some of his notes. Yeah, there's not much here from Dr. Green himself. We've kind of already been over his stuff. But there are notes from Dr. Burnett that mention Hazel's thoughts on Dr. Green. Hazel seems hesitant to share when something is bothersome. It is apparent to me that she does not expect her doctor to take those concerns seriously. Hazel voiced a pleasant surprise at my attempt to help her. When asked why, she said that she was anticipating a denial. She holds the belief that when I'm told about one of her symptoms, I will tell her she's wrong. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of little notes like that.
Yeah, it sounds like Dr. Green was, neglectful, to put it nicely.
It does.
It only makes sense that Hazel would be so hesitant to tell Dr. Burnett what's going on with her. Based on those notes, I think it's very possible Dr. Green exacerbated Hazel's struggles with an avoidant attachment style. If I'm being honest, Hazel is displaying symptoms of abuse trauma. I kind of wonder if Dr. Green was maybe
doing something worse?
Perhaps, yeah. This looks like a trauma response to me. The way she's so wary of Dr. Burnett.
Well, you want me to play the next clip so you can get a little more insight?
Yes.
Okay, so this next clip is from another month or two later.
Have you eaten since our last session? No. Are the oats still bothering you? I don't know. Maybe. When was the last time you got out of bed? I don't know. Nurse Amelia says she hasn't seen you move in 3 days. Hazel, it's possible she missed you moving. She's not monitoring you around the clock. Hazel? She didn't miss it. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I didn't want to. I don't mean to waste your time. You're not wasting my time. Am I wasting yours? No. I'm glad. Are you hungry? Do you need to use the restroom? I don't know. I can't. Can't? Aren't you ever just so tired, Dr. Burnett? You have to feed yourself 3 times a day. You have to go to the bathroom every time you drink a glass of water. You have to brush your teeth and floss twice a day. You have to shower and wash your hair, then dry your hair, and you have to be standing that whole time. It's just so much upkeep. And at the end of it all, I'm still here, alone. I hear you. You're not alone. I'm here. But I know you're lonely, and I'm sorry. I'm worried about you, Hazel. What's happening to you right now? Not eating, not using the restroom, that's not normal. I think we should think about trying something like a low-dose antidepressant. No. No. No, I won't. Okay. We don't have to. Please leave. I'm sorry. Thank you, but... That's okay, Hazel. I'll leave you for now.
Writing a book is an incredible feat. Publishing it is another beast entirely. That's where we come in. Lit Lantern Media Management is your guide, because self-publishing doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Whether you need one or all of our services, we approach every project as though it were our own, so your release will be a book that you are proud of. Using our in-house talent, we can handle every facet of the creation of your book: audiobook production, cover design, illustration, formatting, ARC management, contracts, timelines, and more. You won't need to worry when Lit Lantern is lighting the way.
Okay, last update to my attachment style theory. I think Hazel has a disorganized attachment style. So a disorganized attachment style is characterized by both wanting intimacy and, deeply fearing it. Which seems to be what Hazel is doing, and also I think is why I thought she was anxious and then avoidant. Hazel is very much afraid of being vulnerable with Dr. Burnett. She's afraid to be honest about what's bothering her. She's afraid Dr. Burnett will dismiss her or deny her care. But clearly Hazel wants Dr. Burnett's company and care. She had a total meltdown when another patient pulled her away from a session. And she does answer Dr. Burnett's questions, that's right, but she clearly doesn't want to make her job more difficult than it has to be. But then Hazel will apologize for being difficult. It seems very disorganized.
Well, that makes sense. God, I also think it probably does have to do with what you said earlier about trauma responses. The way she apologizes for wasting Dr. Burnett's time, for example.
Yes, I completely agree.
I think Hazel must have felt so surprised that Dr. Burnett was so committed to listening to her and taking her concerns seriously. Like, that Dr. Burnett was giving her some agency with her medical care in a way it doesn't seem like a doctor had given her before. That must have been, surprising, but then also very nice and comforting to be seen like that for, the first time. If it's all right with you, I'd like to read Dr. Burnett's notes from this session with Hazel.
Okay.
Medical terms, medication names. Oh, okay, here it is. Hazel's case is very complicated. Here is a woman whose entire adulthood has been spent isolated from anyone but doctors and nurses, who's been misdiagnosed, dismissed, and ignored. Meanwhile, she is dealing with moderate to severe depression, moderate anxiety, dysfunction, and dysregulation on a pathological level, and there seems to be no diagnosis I am aware of that encompasses all of this. I don't know how any doctor with an average caseload could provide Hazel with the proper care. I am sure there is a solution. That is science. That is medicine. We experiment and find answers. There is something I can do for Hazel, and I will find it if it takes my whole career.
Interesting.
I think it speaks to Dr. Burnett's devotion even, to Hazel.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, here. I have one last clip for today, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, Hazel, let's get started. How are you feeling today? I've noticed you're sitting up in bed.
I suppose a little bit different.
Better?
I don't know.
Do you want to try something to feel better? I can get some food to you, or we could go for a walk around the wing.
No. I feel sick.
Are you feeling feverish, nauseated?
No. There's something broken in me.
Hazel, I've met a lot of patients like you. Nobody was ever broken. You are not the first.
What did you do to fix them?
Well, a lot of things. Exercise and sunlight helps most people. And
Hills?
yes, pills. They're no different than when you take medicine for a fever or an infection.
I'm scared they'll just make me sick in a different way.
Hazel, I promise you, if you don't feel better after 2 weeks on new medication, we will take you off of it and try something else. My job is to help you feel better. I have no interest in keeping you on a treatment regimen that doesn't do that.
All right. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, come here, Hazel. Thank you, too.
What for?
For trusting me.
For those who didn't quite catch it at the end of that clip there, Dr. Burnett is hugging Hazel. I think that's a very sweet moment.
I agree, yeah. I think it's very heartwarming that Dr. Burnett was able to get through to Hazel like that. And that Hazel was able to trust her, with her care.
Yes, and I think that moment where Dr. Burnett says thank you to Hazel is so profound. To me, that really seems like the first moment where they establish a firm connection. And
oh, yeah, for sure.
And they've built up some trust, and they're able to express it and lean on it. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, that is it for us this week on Mysteries of the Mind.
Join us next week as we'll
be getting into the start of Hazel and Dr. Burnett's actual relationship.
Oh, which means we're getting closer to them running away together.
Exactly. So again, join us here next week for even more of Hazel and Dr. Burnett's story exclusively here on Mysteries of the Mind.
I'm Preston Knight, our psychology nerd.
And I'm Daphne Sinclair, our hopeless romantic.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!
Dr. Love is written and directed by Maya Appavoo and produced by Maya Appavoo and Monica Gate. Starring the voice acting talents of Madeline Harsh as Daphne, Jacob Martin as Preston, Abby McDougall as Dr. Burnett, and Emily Lazat as Hazel. Post-production management by Monica Gate. Sound design for this episode by Ace Luke and music by Ken Kosowick. The full list of credits and disclaimers can be found in the episode description or on our website, appoova.ca/portfolio/doctorlove. Follow us on social media. We are at Dr. Love Pod on everything. Dr. Love is supported by the Edmonton Arts Council and the City of Edmonton. Thank you for listening.